going to go to Damon Sales.
Hey, Coach, you always talk about having 7 or 8 starters out there, and today you get your 2 top scorers off the bench. What's the luxury like just having all this talent available at will?
You know, it's a long time coming, as you well know. You know, with our number situations over the last several years, I can't tell you how great it is to, you know, sub and sometimes things get, you know, even a lot better. I mean, to have that depth, that talent, and you know, I hate to even call starters or non-starters. I just think, you know, everybody's a starter to me. But they obviously, the bench came up big. You know, the whole bench, everybody came off the bench and did a great job. And really, that's such a big thing for us.
Next question to Sam Blum.
Hey, Tim. I'm curious specifically about Yor and just defensively. I mean, you saw it in practice and his tape at Oklahoma State, but just what is he? How does he kind of change a game with his defense and also with his offense today too?
Well, you know, defensively, obviously he is a game changer because he is an elite shot blocker. I don't know the whole country, but I can't imagine there's many, if any, better shot blockers. So he's a guy in my mind. In the first half, we were ahead at halftime, and I would give him the crown for that because I thought he erased several defensive mistakes that we made, and to have that luxury is absolutely priceless. And then what starts to happen, and when a guy starts blocking shots, people start looking for him and they start short arming balls, and that happened in this game. It's happened in every game he's played. So he puts that on their mind, and it's just fantastic. We've not had that, and you know, Isaiah J.C. is a very good rim presence in a different way. He's very strong. He you know, makes it hard to catch. He's hard to score on. He takes charges. He's big, and so we have 2 guys that now, instead of just one, we have 2 guys that make it tougher to score around our basket, and ultimately field goal percentages go down.
Next question to Steve Lansdale.
Yeah, sorry about that. Temple came in having shot 34 3-pointers in the first 2 games and put up 31 today. Was that a conscious part of your defensive game plan to make them shoot from long range?
No. In a word, no. So, you know, I'd be interested to see the tape. I hope sometimes when that happens, it's because you force people into that. You certainly don't want to have people playing to that and shooting step-in horse shots, you know, and their percentage, 29 or whatever for the game, you know, pretty good, not great. But no, that's surprising in a lot of ways. But you know, the 2 seniors, Mormon and Perry, they are big guys that do stretch the floor. It's one of the strengths of their team. Thankfully, they both went 2 for 13 between them. They're really dangerous because they're big guys that can pick and pop and stretch a floor. That's always a great luxury. You know, that's something that we've had always with Ethan, or, you know, Ferran can stretch a floor. Isaiah Mike last year. Anytime you have big guys that way, we did know that Barry, it didn't look like we knew, but I promise you, at scouting report, one of the main things we covered, we didn't want Barry to shoot threes, and he only got 10 of them off and made 5. That was the biggest difference in the game, I thought, defensively. We could have gotten away from him maybe had we done a better job on him, but he's a great shooter. Like, he's a 5th-year senior. We'd watched his films from where he played before, and we knew he was this dangerous. So didn't mean for it to happen. We did a lot of good things. One thing we did really poorly was defensive rebound, and that's really concerning, particularly with our opponent that's coming up, who's the best offensive rebounding team in the country. So, you know, you can never be overly happy. The game never lets you be that happy. There's always something, and right now the something is we got to rebound 5 times better than we did today.
Next, back to Damon Sales.
Yeah, Tim, going back to Darius McNeill, looks like he's really getting comfortable in the system. Can you just go in a little more into detail on on his maturation process and what he's bringing to the table for you guys?
Yeah, the thing is he didn't play last year, and sitting out a whole year is kind of tough. And then he comes in with a bunch of guys that did play together. And yes, he was practicing, but it's still not the same as a game. I think it's a confidence. I think he's very conscientious. He's very team oriented. And I think part of it is he hasn't played in a game where I'm the coach. So I think he's kind of finding his way, that way in his comfort zone. And I think he's realizing that we have a lot of confidence in him. And I think that helps grow. And of course, the better a guy plays, the more confidence he gets. The coach doesn't have magic dust to sprinkle on a guy. I wish I did. You kind of earn that. And he has certainly earned confidence in the way that he's been playing. He came up big tonight.
Another question, Sam Blum.
You mentioned the Houston game. I'm curious. That should be a pretty big one. Houston, obviously, they did lose last night, but they're still number 5 in the country. And just can you talk a little bit about just that the importance of that, both just from getting to a 3-0 start in the conference, but also symbolically, just they seem to be the favorite, and early on, just kind of setting that tone.
Timing is bad. I mean, not very good timing at all. Having them come off a loss. That is not what you want in college basketball when you're facing a great team. Maybe a weaker team, that's maybe a different story, but I think Houston is a great team. And so, I wish they would have been coming off the holidays or whatever in a little different spirit. But of course it's a big, anytime you play someone that's ranked, that adds to the drama of the game and the potential in the long run. Those are always feel like bigger games. I think one of the biggest challenges for college players, any athlete, is to not put certain games higher than others. I mean, that's the real challenge. Guys are always going to get up in the NBA to play the Lakers, but do they get up to play the second to the last place team? And that's what great teams do. And so, yes, it's a big game, got ramifications. And I'm sure our guys will, be ready to play and fight hard. And I know we're going to have to rebound a lot better than we did tonight, for sure.
Next question to Dick Humphrey.
Yes, Coach. Thanks. Congratulations again on a really good win today.
Thank you.
Do you have any update for us on the Tyson Jolly situation?
No, really just the same. He's no update at all. So he's not practicing and not with us, but doing well. He's doing well.
All right, next question to Steve Lansdale.
Yeah, you mentioned a couple of times the rebounding discrepancy tonight and the concern that presents for you against Houston. Obviously, you haven't had a chance to review this game yet, but from your perspective on the bench, did it look like an effort thing from your guys, or were there particular things that Temple did to try to keep your guys off the boards today?
Well, there's two sides of it. They shot 31. If we're talking about our defensive boards, they shot 31 threes, which means what they have, what's my math? 22 missed threes. So that's 22 really long rebounds. So to be fair to our guys, long rebounds are a little bit tougher in the blockout category. So sometimes you're going to give up a few more. Having said that, I thought our blockouts were not nearly as good as they have been. We've been doing very good. We grade that, we chart that we've been doing very well. And I felt like during the game we were very poor. I'll be surprised if I get a surprise when I watch the film. On the other side of it, we missed 29 shots. We got 7 rebounds back. You know, what's 25% or what is that? About a little over, something like that. You know, not where you need to be. You know, our lineup changes. Sometimes we're big, sometimes we're small. But yeah, I don't want to say effort, but I do think that the urgency and the commitment to the offensive board certainly would make, you know, you always want to be efficient at both ends. So how do you be efficient on the offensive end? Well, one is you shoot well, you know, and our numbers were great. Didn't feel like it, but they're great shooting numbers. Another way you're efficient is you don't turn the ball over very much. So you know, maximize your possessions. And of course, another way, a hidden way, is that you get a lot of offensive rebounds. And right now, we've you know, we were, I thought last year, outstanding offensive rebounding team or close to that. This year, that hadn't been our MO. And I think, and it's frustrating because it's something we emphasize. So we're going to have to get better at it.
Question, Sam Blum.
Yeah, real quick. I mean, I'm curious because first like really long trip of the year to Temple. What's it kind of like with, you know, during COVID? How have you guys kind of been able to handle it? Has it been weird? Has it been different? How would
Yeah,
you kind
no,
of
it felt just like the Dayton trip, other than the flight's longer.
Yeah,
It's long, and the flight back is really long because I think it's against the jet stream. You know, it's at the hotel and everything. You're kind of getting used to it. You know, it's the food is boxed up and you stay distanced, and it's kind of a routine. It's not that. I guess it's feeling like it's not that out of the ordinary now. I mean, it would if it was day one, but I think we're starting to acclimate to that. You know, on the planes is the hardest part. Honestly, we've got the N95 mask, which just like suck the life out of your face, and we've got shields on, and you know, we're trying to be as safe as we can. And those get a little warm, and you know, that's maybe not the funnest thing, but it's, you know, it's not that bad. And our guys have been. I told them that before the game. Just their attitudes towards all this, and they've never felt sorry for themselves. They just, you know, they just kind of just blow right through it. And so it's I've been really impressed with the way they've handled it.
Next question, Dick Humphrey. Dick, you're
Excuse
still,
me.
oh, there you go.
Yeah, excuse me. In your past coaching here, you've played a lot of small ball. This year with JC and Anei, are you changing your approach to coaching offense with this team?
Well, you know, we're going to play to the personnel, honestly. So, you know, maybe if you look at some of the teams, and I'm not sure which year you know, we've had all different kinds of teams. You know, a few years ago we had the great team was kind of, everybody was the same size. You know, everybody's like 6'5", 6'7". We had nobody small, nobody really large. And then we've had, you know, a different mix. If you look at last year, you know, Isaiah was out a big part of it. So we started out, Ethan was, you know, kind of our starting 5, Isaiah, Mike at the 4. And we've kind of had some of that for a couple of years, but now, you know, Isaiah's fully in now, Yor's in. So, you know, I think the biggest thing for a coach is to figure out his personnel and try to play to the personnel. It has been tricky here for a lot of reasons. One, with the limited numbers, you know, for several years with probation, made it hard in practice to get 10 people, so it was hard to experiment. Then last year, Isaiah coming in at semester, that's tricky. And now we're putting, you know, Yor missed two months of practice basically with his infection. And so, you know, we're behind where you normally would be, where you'd like to be. That's where we wanted, you know, wish we could have played more preseason games because, you know, we'll still evolve some, we will. But I think you're trying to put the best players on the floor and you try to figure out how they can best play together. And I think that's one of the starting points of the job of the coach.
Next question, Steve Lansdale.
Yeah, Kendrick Davis had 13 points and many in the second half, which may appear to be sort of an off night for him scoring based on the numbers he's had prior to this. But he did also have 7 rebounds and 5 assists to only 1 turnover. Just curious what you thought of his performance overall.
Well, I think he got frustrated, in the first half. But he is a tough competitor, as we all well know. And down the stretch, how many plays did he make down the stretch, and he's a guy that really wants the ball. And those are great numbers for most anyone. 5 assists with 1 turnover, for gosh sake. I mean, he rarely turns the ball over. Of all things, the turnover he had, he basically misdribbled, for guys as good a dribbler as he is. It wasn't a decision turnover. It was misdribbled, which he never does. And he had 7. We got music going on here. So, but anyway, he's such a tough competitor down the stretch. He made a lot of good plays, a lot of great plays.
We've got our last question for Dick Humphrey.
Well, Herman, I hadn't put in for a question. And I don't have another one for him.
You want to hear more music? Is probably what.
Maybe that's what we should do.
We'll open it up. All right, and the first question, Dick, go ahead. If you got a question for Darius McNeill. All right, we'll go to Steve Lansdale.
Yeah, coming in, I was just curious, what concerned you the most, either individually or from a team standpoint, about the matchup with Temple today?
I don't think anything was concerning. It was just making sure we were staying with their shooters, and because they run a lot of little down screens and stuff, so it was a matter of who was going to stay high and who was going to stay low with the guards coming out. Especially 15, I think he was a shooter, making sure keying in on number 4 as well, and just making sure one of the guards stay at the mid during screens. So that was really our concerns coming in, trying to make sure we was squared away with that on the defensive end.
Next question to Damon Sales.
Yeah, Boogie, you seem real comfortable now. A strong game, 17 points, 6 of 10 shooting. Let me just hear it from you. What has this year been like for you, and just just kind of take us into just the mind and just the overall process of what you've been able to do.
Yeah. So, the first game came, I had a bad hand injury on my shooting hand. So I had missed that whole 2 weeks. Well, not 2 weeks, but like a week and a half of practice before that first game. So my conditioning went back to square one. It was just kind of bad a little bit. I wasn't in a good place. But I just know who I am, and I trust my work, and how it's showing. So, I'm from the Pac-12, so I didn't see it all. Rather me coming off the bench or starting, I'm gonna just play my game. Now I'm just staying aggressive, and everything is falling in line right now.
All right, and another question for Steve Lansdale. Steve, go ahead. All right, we'll go back to Damon Sales.
A game like this is always big for a team, especially when you prepare for a nationally ranked team in Houston. I know they took an L, but what does a game like this do for your confidence and the team's confidence going into the upcoming game?
I think it's pretty good, but right now I think we boxed out too well, and that's one of the main things U of H does. So right now, I'm pretty sure when we get to practice, it's gonna be a lot of box out drills, and yeah, I think that's what mostly we're gonna be keying on. Honestly, just boxing out and just getting stops on defense.
here, so we'll start the first question to Damon Sales.
Yor, first off, congratulations on the win and second game out. I remember you saying that first game that you didn't get a chance to show all that you were capable of doing. And today you come in 14 points, but I think everybody wants to talk about the 5 blocks. Just kind of give me your self-evaluation of what you thought of how everything went today for you personally.
I think I played all right, but I definitely could have helped the team a little bit more. And I feel like I protected the rim really well, though. But I feel like I definitely could have done a better job at rebounding, and I could have blocked a few more shots. But we got the win, so that's all that matters.
Next question to Steve Lansdale.
You're already leading the team in block shots after just 2 games. And after your first game last week, you talked about how you're sort of rounding into shape still. And tonight you put up 14 points. I'm wondering where you feel physically as far as conditioning and comfort level with your teammates, and where you see the most progress on the offensive end.
I definitely think that I did better tonight than I did last game offensively, and I want to thank my teammates for finding me a lot. But as far as conditioning wise, I still need to do a little bit more cardio on my own to help get myself into even better shape, because I was still a little bit winded in this game.
Next question to Damon Sales.
Yeah, I want you to just put your educator hat on for a minute, man, and just kind of talk to us a little bit about just the science of the block shot, because there are a lot of guys your size who aren't as good as what you're able to do. What is it that you're seeing? What is it that you're doing? Is it a timing thing? Break it down for us.
It's mostly a timing thing, because I'll see it as I'm light on my feet, so I can get over there, like get over from one block to the other really quick. And if I see a guard driving and they put their head down and just focus on the rim, like with say one of my teammates got drove in, and I noticed that the guard is just staring at the rim. I see them, and I like go time. It's kind of hard to explain. I'm really sorry, but I basically time it to where if a guard is driving down the lane, I'll come over and grab it. It's just what I've been doing since I'm younger, so I don't really know how to explain it.
All right, and our last question to Steve Lansdale.
Yeah, your coach was concerned about you guys getting out rebounded by Temple today, although he did acknowledge that some of that was because they put up 31 3-pointers, and so there were a lot of long rebounds. But did you see anything in the way Temple tried to keep you and Isaiah JC and Shagwa off the boards down low? And is there enough time between now and Sunday to clean some of that up?
Yes, most definitely. They were ultra aggressive when it came to crashing the glass. I believe they had like 5 offensive rebounds in the first half. And it was just a matter of putting bodies on people, and they were hitting us before we were hitting them. So in our next game, we just got to do a better job of being the aggressor when it comes to rebounding.
All right, Yor, thanks, man. Congrats.
Thank you guys so much.